Hi guys, this is gsmknown.com and I'm here with the Acer CloudMobile S500, one of the most interesting devices that I've tested in 2012. It's very affordable and still it has pretty good specs. This model, as far as I know, is sold by the operator Orange in some countries and it costs only 200 euros. On contract, some carriers even sell it for 1 euro on a 2-year contract. It was announced in February and it was released in September, and it offers pretty much the same specifications as the HTC One S for a much lower price. Okay, so let's get to the design. At first glance everything is plasticky, but it also looks pretty hot. The back cover is definitely plasticky, you can hear it creaking. Can hear it, but it's resilient, it has good grip and a very nice texture, and also I'm loving this metal area at the top and the metal one at the bottom. It's no wonder that this phone actually received the prize for the best design. It received an iF Product Design Award 2012, so it has an award to show off for its beautiful design. It's very light, reasonably thin. Let's see what's behind the back cover. That's also easy to remove. So here we are, we got the micro SD card slot here, micro SIM card slot, the battery, here we have the camera, and here you have the speaker with Dolby Mobile enhancement, the NFC chip right here, and this is the back cover that's actually pretty resilient. Here you can see the flash near the camera, micro USB port right here, on-off button on the top, audio jack, front camera, and also the earpiece hidden in this silver area. Let's see what else. Volume buttons, camera, as I said, and that's about it. If you're wondering where the buttons went, where we have virtual buttons in Android and no trace of physical button. Okay, so as I said, this device is light. I like the metallic thing going on at the top and bottom. 9.9 millimeters in thickness. It weighs 122 grams, 4.3 inch in diagonal, and the earpiece is at the top. The speaker is camouflaged by this logo, by this Dolby logo right here, which is a pretty cool idea. And now we're done with the design, we're appreciating it, it's lovely, but let's get to the hardware. So, the display is an IPS LCD 720p 4.3 inch unit. Inside we have 8 GB of memory, storage, 1 GB of RAM, Dolby Mobile technology, HSPA Plus connectivity, as well as Wi-Fi, DLNA, Bluetooth 4.0, NFC. At the back there's an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash, HDR, touch focus and full HD capture. There is a secondary camera capable of HD capture. And the brain of the device, the CPU, is a Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 dual-core 1.5 GHz Crite CPU with an Adreno 225 GPU. Other usual features that you'll find on this device include an accelerometer, proximity sensor, and compass, FM radio, GPS, and inside that battery you saw earlier is a lithium-ion 1460 mAh battery, good enough for 10-12 hours of use. That's at least how long it lasted for us. I have to say something, I played 1.5 hours of games on this device. It was Contract Killer Zombies 2 and the battery was gone in a proportion of 80%. So 1.5 hours of gaming equals killing your battery, so you should remember that. So I must also mention that I took the photo for a spin today, took some photos in the park, and in 1 hour of taking 100 pics, 30% of the battery went off. In case you're wondering, the battery will charge in about 1 hour and 40 minutes. So this does the advantage of a poorer battery, it charges faster, the lower capacity battery. In case you're wondering about the operating system, I guess I'm going to show you, it's like Ice Cream Sandwich. It's Android 4.0.4, can't really tell when this model will get Jelly Bean or if it will get Jelly Bean, and since I said if, I must say it again, this handset received the prize, the iF Product Design Award 2012. It's time to test the audio experience. Since it's a Dolby Mobile phone, the expectations are great. And this is Placebo, we're listening to a song, starting from the beginning. Okay, now let's activate the Dolby Mobile. You can turn on Dolby Mobile. That totally changes the sound. There are various settings: dance, Latin, default. Somehow the track is skipping, as you can hear, for some reason. You can change the bass, make it more natural, change the treble, and we can also change the genre of the music. So let's search for something, let's say let's try some narrow. This is where the Dolby Mobile really comes in. So let's turn the music to electronic and let's enhance the bass. This is the speaker. Okay, you get the idea. So we tested an electronic song and an alternative song, and the conclusion are as follows. The audio is pretty crisp, the Dolby Mobile is really felt. It doesn't necessarily turn up the volume, but it turns up the bass and the entire experience. The bass is good, the sound is crisp, and now it's time to test the video playback. And for that, I guess I'm going to have to go to the special video area. As you can see, Acer offers a bunch of customized icons for each and every experience. So let's look for the video. Here we are. I'm going to show you a trailer of a British movies, Cockneys versus Zombies.
Welcome to the East End of London, a place that has encountered the most heinous villains ever to walk the earth.
It's a big old parody in the British style.
London has never seen anything.
And the Dolby Mobile technology is felt in the video playback as well.
He's eating a foot. It's fucking disgusting. This is an emergency broadcast. There is a viral infection spreading.
Let's go straight to the shotgun action.
Oh, that was really sad.
Very good viewing angles, as you can see. Also excellent brightness, deep blacks, good colors. And let's stop this trailer and talk about the video quality. So as I said, very good viewing angles, good colors, and there's a 342 ppi. The pixel density of the screen is better than the one on the iPhone 5, and the screen is bright, clear, crisp. And Acer eliminated the air gaps of the display, so they created a more performant display. They reduced the reflectivity and eliminated the air gaps between the panel and the glass, so that's why the display is so bright. In fact, let me turn up the brightness all the way up so you can see what you're missing. In order to film a proper review, we're keeping the brightness like this. Okay, here we are. This is the full brightness, and that's the full potential of the screen. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, now let's turn it up to normal. So the highest praise on this device goes to the screen, also a bit to the camera, and since I mentioned camera, it's time to test the good old camera on this handset. So we're dealing with an 8 megapixel camera, but before that I must mention that the screen also behaves nicely in direct sunlight. The handset supports playback for MP3s, VMAs, WAV, DivX, XVID, MP4 and other formats. So camera time. Let's take a peek of this globe. Touch focus, obviously, in areas that we want, areas with more light, less light. And here's the pictures we've taken. Of course, the camera is fast, you already figured that out. Decent level of detail. Indoors, it's not so good, but luckily we have a low light option. So you have an option for the flash right here, an option for some effects like antique, low-mo, mono red, mono green, mono blue, sepia, vignette, emboss, sketch mono, sketch color, grayscale, cartoon, watercolor. So a lot of effects to play with. And then come the real options. Capture mode. We have panorama, HDR, low light, continuous shooting. In panorama mode, there's a very interesting mode of integrating the panorama. So you simply turn the phone like this, and there's a little ball at the center that you have to fit in a hole to get the panorama right. We also have HDR that I'll show you later in a nifty sample. Resolution 8 megapixel 5321. Widescreen mode on, image adjustment, brightness, contrast, saturation and sharpness. Intuitive interface, I have to say, white balance, timer, storage, location and timestamp. Obviously there's also the video capture option that you can trigger like this. And now let's see the options for video capture. Resolution is 1080p, 720p, 480p or MMS. And then there are the location, storage, timer, live effects, and that's about it. So I must show you an interesting effect of the HDR on this device. So that's why I'm going to go to the gallery. I took about 96 pictures today, so I must find them. There's one with the roof of a church with and without HDR. Okay, so this is the first picture taken in December at about sunlight without HDR, and this is the same picture with HDR. So pretty cool, right? That's the effect of the HDR. And now it's time to see some video playback done with the same 8 megapixel camera. So we use this phone to film this frozen lake. Once again at sunset, decent behavior. 8 megapixel camera, very nice zoom as you can see. Nice panorama feature, decent HDR, 1080p capture, low light mode. There's also continuous mode, a sort of burst shot that generates 10 pictures in a row. And you can also take pictures while taking a video. And honestly, if you ask me, the camera is pretty close to the one on the HTC One S. Not only the phone has pretty much the same specs as the One S, but also pretty close camera quality. Okay guys, it's that time of the review again, the time when I show you the screen captures and benchmarks and we compare them to other famous devices. So as usual, we start with Quadrant. Pretty impressive results. I have to say that I compared the Acer CloudMobile S500 with the HTC One S, has the same CPU, LG Optimus 4X HD. It has a quad-core CPU, but it has double the price and about the same performance, and the Asus Padfone 1 with once again the same CPU. So our device scored 5,114 points. We compare that to the 5,103 points of the HTC One S, 5,149 points of the LG quad-core phone, and the Padfone scored 5,000 points. So we're using a pretty well-performing device. If you ask me, we're at the 5,000 limit, so that's high praise for such a phone. In Antutu, we scored 9,400 points. We surpassed the HTC One S with 7,000. We were below the LG Optimus 4X with 11,000, and we surpassed the Padfone 1 with 6,100. Moving on to Nanomark, here we scored 54.8 frames per second. That's below the HTC One S with 60 frames per second, but that one has a lower screen resolution. We surpassed LG Optimus 4X HD with 46 frames per second, and we were close to the Padfone 1 that had 60 frames per second, once again lower resolution to its rescue. And then comes Velamo. In Velamo we scored 1,961 points, and this is the chart, the rankings. Our device ranked higher than the HTC One X, Galaxy S3, Motorola Razr E, and higher than many other devices in the HTML5 test, and that's got to count for something. And finally we did a BrowserMark test, and I have to find the result here somewhere. Here we are, in BrowserMark, the latest version, 1,246 points. You must know that the Asus Padfone 2, latest gen handset with a quad-core Snapdragon CPU, scored 1,700, so we're not that far from that model. The dual-core and quad-core Snapdragon aren't that different as you may expect. This is the dialer of the phone, it's a phone after all, and this is the contact section, looking pretty nice actually. You can also see Facebook profiles of your contacts, and the call quality is pretty good, although the higher notes are heard in a strange way on the earpiece of the device. It's a bit synthetic, the sound. As you can see, Acer didn't personalize the device too much, and they only put a light skin on top of Android, so the basic features are all here, including the multitasking like this, basic interface elements, and this notification area is a bit modified by Acer, but only a bit. the rest is all the same. We have the widgets right here. Nothing particularly new or impressive in the widgets area. Notification area like this, with a special area for the songs, notifications, settings with quick settings and major settings, and a setting and an area for the alarm straight from the notification. I must say that when playing a game on this phone, the backside will become pretty hot, especially after about 20 minutes of gameplay, so be careful about that. Acer is particularly known for its ability to make device hotter. I mean tablets. The tablets actually had some problems with overheating. But overall the games look hot, they're acting pretty well on the device, the CPU handles them really well. Another thing that I like is the lock screen. You may think it's a puny feature, not so important, but it's pretty cute and nice actually, and the shortcuts are actually nice to access from this lock screen. So you take one like this and you slide it to unlock and you move straight to the camera. I find that to be pretty nice. Also, I must say that we have swipe pre-installed, so the swipe keyboard comes as a default if you want to use it like that. There are also a bunch of cloud services that Acer offers on this device. So we got the main one, Acer Cloud, that will allow you to synchronize your pictures and your videos, your documents with an account and see them from the PC and other devices. Sadly, it doesn't all work that well. Sometimes the synchronization fails. There have been a ton of updates over the past days and they don't seem to get it right. Anyway, this handset also has some exclusive Orange applications if you get the device from Orange. And obviously we have the entire suite of normal applications like Gmail, for example. This is Gmail, and we will also have Google Maps. Here we are, Google Maps on this 720p screen. That's very bright and pretty neat. Looks good, there's no lag. Of course, there's that initial lag that appears on all Android devices when opening the app, especially for the first time, but overall a pretty nice mapping experience. Okay, so maps, time to show you the browser and keyboard. Here we are, browser and keyboard right here, the keyboard you already saw. And let's enter gsndom.com to see how fast it loads. Let's open it in the native browser, since you may not want to install Chrome at first, although I can imagine that you want to. So this is gsndom.com, pinch to zoom, some scrolling around. I love this scrolling mechanism at the edge. Also in landscape mode. You can actually read the text after a single zoom, so pretty cool. Let's see the browser's options: refresh bookmarks, share page, find on page, request desktop site, save for offline reading, and a bunch of settings. Those are the usual ones from all the Android browsers on handsets you've seen so far. I already showed you the multitasking. Let's see what else. There's also Acer Printing, another app that's offered bundled with the device. And then there's Polaris Office for extra productivity. There's a media server. For socializing, we've got Google Plus in the newest version available with these tiles, if I may call them that way without Microsoft getting excessively pissed about it. There's also an app called HD Channel. Basically, it's a collection of YouTube clips, but they're HD. And it's actually a pretty nice thing to have on your handset. Okay, enough talk about this €200 handset from Acer. Please excuse me if along the review I mentioned the name Asus instead of Acer. Those two are apparently in the process of one buying the other. Those are only rumors, but you heard it from me first. So, time for the pros, cons, and the conclusions about the Acer CloudMobile. First of all, we love the display. Great viewing angles, great brightness, great sunlight behavior. And then we love the Dolby mobile capacity, great audio volume, crisp volume, nice songs, nice bass, nice everything. The price is a killer, €1 on contract, €200 without. We love the CPU, very well performing Snapdragon S4 dual core CPU. The overall performance, the decent number of apps. It has pretty much the same specs as the HTC One S, a close camera, but there are some defects. For example, the battery, the creaking back cover, the internal memory that's only 8 gigs, and I don't quite like what Acer did with the software. I don't like the little way they customized it in, and I don't like the fact that the Acer cloud solutions do not actually work to their full extent. Overall, the grade is good for this device, don't get me wrong. It received the design award after all and is well worth it, and it's got a killer CPU, killer screen and decent camera. So a 9 out of 10 for design. a 10 out of 10 for hardware, and a 9 out of 10 for operating system and user interface. The total grade here is 9.33, and since it's Christmas we're rounding it up to 9.4 out of 10. Solid buy. Acer CloudMobile, 200 euros, one of the best buys of 2012 at gsndome.com. Bye bye.